Hello again. Good morning, everyone. I'm Hitesh, and today, the plan of today is to discuss about the second chapter of the book Flamingo, Class 12 English, CBSE syllabus. The name of the chapter says Lost Spring. This spring is not the spring that you use, like which compress and come back. It's not that spring. Neither it is the spring season that comes. This spring means something else. Do you know? In spring season, like new buds, new flowers, new leaves sprout out of the life forms like trees. Just like that, the spring referring to the happiness, the hope and happiness that sprout out from a person that has been lost. This is a little emotional chapter. It has two stories. Story of two boys. One boy is Sahib Alam, who is a rag picker at Mayapuri near New Delhi. Another one is Mukesh. He's a bangle maker and he lives in Firozabad from UP. So, let's dive straight into the chapter Lost Spring. So, in this chapter, the story starts with a boy whose name is Sahib Alam. Sahib Alam is a boy. He was a Bangladesh. He was a Bangladesh immigrant who uh, came here like several several generations ago, maybe several years ago, I guess. He came to India several years ago, and they were staying here. The boy Sahib Alam was a very, what do you say, happy kind of boy. He was really happy. Yeah, he was a rag picker. He used to pick garbage and trash and sell it in order to earn their daily living. So, in this story, Anisham is the one who tells the story of these two boys. So, when she was like went to the Mayapuri for like some of her personal works, she met this boy. He was carrying a bag. He was barefooted. He had some he had a gang of barefooted boys who were just like rag pickers of the almost same age. They were too small, and she just went near him. She said hello, and she said, "Why do you guys pick the garbage here?" Then they say that, "Oh, this is gold. This is not garbage." What does the gold mean? For the parents of these children, like the rag pickers, garbage was just a mere piece of income for them, for the parents. But for these kids, that garbage was a mystery. It was a mystery to find something new. Like he said, I found a 10 rupee note once. So this opportunity or this possibility of gaining something so valuable so randomly is what making them feel like it's gold. It's a treasure to them. It's adventure. The curiosity. The curiosity wants them to search through the garbage and find something exciting. So this is what the gold means. This is what garbage means to the boys. Now, out of nowhere, the Anish Young just asks the boy that, why don't you go to school? Then she herself realized how stupid that statement was. Like, seriously. That boy doesn't even have certainty that he would get a food to eat at night. And you're saying that, why don't you go to school? What kind of stupid question could be that? But still, the boy replied like, my village doesn't have one, so I couldn't go. Then she said out of joke, if I made one, would you come join me? Then he said, of course. He was so happy then. Like so happy. His smile just was precious. It was amazing. So after some days, the boy came running to Arsa. He said, ma'am, is your school ready yet? Then Anish said, like disappointed, no, it takes time to build a school. So he said, okay, and just rushes away. Anish felt so bad that she had made a false promise to a boy. It wasn't, she didn't really mean it. It was just a joke. But the boy thought it as real, and he thought it like she would really be making a school and admitting him there. He really had a urge to study. So she felt so bad. After that, several weeks or months of meeting together, she asked him, what's your name, boy? He said, Sahib Alam. She was so amazed that if the boy would know the meaning of his name, he would have literally put a thought about it. Like his name says Sahib Alam, which means the Lord of the universe. And he's living a miserable life here, like picking rags. They just, then one day, he Anis just asked those boys, why do you walk barefoot? Why don't you wear shoes? So, everyone had their own answers. A boy who was shoeless said that my mother didn't brought them out of the shelves. What does this mean? The shelves doesn't mean the shelf that we have at home. Shelves mean the shelves at the shop. The boy must have seen a rich kid and her parent bringing down the shoes from the shelf to buy it. So he must have had a misconception about how the things works, but still, that means his parents didn't allow him, or they didn't have enough money to buy him a new pair of shoes. A boy with sandals say that I need shoes, like just hiding the sandals back and I need shoes. A boy with shoes say that even if I had, I would have thrown them away because he was so irritated by his shoes because each of them was different size and color. It sucks to him, literally. All these boys had different answer, and she was very curious about asking that. She went straight to the tribe of Mayapuri, where the ragpickers lived. Almost more than 10,000 ragpickers lived there, and their life is so hard, like literally so hard. She went there. When she went there, she said, she asked a group of ladies, like, in Bangladesh, there's like the place you came from, so beautiful, like literally. Its beauty is unexplainable. Green fields, beautiful green fields, the diversity, the landscape. It was amazing, bro. It was beautiful. Why did you came here? Why are you doing this? The ladies say that we don't care. We don't want to live in a place full of beauty and freedom if we cannot fill our tummies there. I am very, very happy to live here picking racks if I and my family can have something to eat. That's what they said. They had ration cards. They were literally so poor, like I cannot express it. Then she asked why they didn't wear shoes. Like many of them said that it was some traditional reasons, but she sensed that they were lying. They were lying for they were lying because they didn't want to had an impression on her, on Anish Chand, that they were so poor that they cannot afford even a pair of shoes for their children. This is what she thought. This was the first part of the chapter, Sai Alam. This was his story. Now let's move to Mukesh. So, in the small town Firozabad of Uttar Pradesh, UP, there lived a boy whose name was Mukesh. Firozabad is a very, very famous place. It's a place, it's the biggest supplier of bangles in all over India. Bangle industry is the biggest here. Like literally thousands, tens and tens of thousands of like bangles are made here and exported and sold all over the country. Like literally, this was the biggest industry. And when she arrived here, she was so shocked that everywhere there were only and only bangles. Like in the cart there were bangles, in the field there were bangles, in the homes there were bangles, in the huts there were bangles, in the roads, in the shops, in the trucks, in the vehicles, like everywhere there is bangles and bangles of thousands of different colors and varieties, thousands of different shapes. It was totally beautiful and amazing. Like every color that comes out of the rainbow existed in the form of bangle, every single size. This is what the bangle industry of Firozabad looked like. This was a bright side. When she entered there, she got to know the dark side as well. She saw thousands of dengue cells in which the fire, the temperature was so hot, like literally so hot that it even they like what can I say? Even the iron gets red. It's that hot. They were literally working on those dingy means like literally small, very small cells, like very small cubes. A person in a cube with fire burning enough temperature to melt a glass without any glasses or goggles to protect them from firelight, without any gloves or protections to not catch fire. They were endlessly working there. They were like with the tools. They were like bending the glass. They were breaking, bending, breaking, bending, breaking, bending. Everybody knows how to make bangles. They were so professional at it. But the work was so badly managed that most of the people, most of children even lose sight before they grow adults. Like imagine you being 30 and 35 and you go blind. Why? Because you were so miserably tortured to create bangles without any protection. That's a bad side. Not only bending the bangles, not only the light, they used to polish it. During the polishing, the dust that flows, if it goes to your eyes, you're done. Boom, you cannot see anymore. So that's the problem of every house of this place. Some peoples are pulling the carts full of bangles, some are endlessly bending them, some are endlessly like sanding them and polishing them. Some are bringing the glass, melting it, like every single thing. This was so hard that you couldn't imagine how hard working they were. Then Anish Jung met Mukesh. She said, "What's your name?" He said, "I am Mukesh and I want to become a car mechanic." He was so clear that he wanted to become a motor mechanic, motor or car mechanic who drives the car, who knows how to fix it. She was so amazed by him. Like, Mukesh really looked so confident about it. She asked that the garage is too far from here. How can you go there? He said, I would walk. He had made a plan. He was so straight and so focused for his aim, for his purpose. He wanted to drive a car. He was so amazed by the trucks and like the carry vehicles that come to Firozabad for carrying the bangles. He was so amazed by it. He really wanted to drive a car. And that's what is bringing a bud of hope in their lives. He was unintentionally budding a hope for every single child in the Firozabad industry. If he could escape this trap, it would give a huge motivation to every single one, every single boy and girl, every single children living in that Firozabad sector to aspire for their passion, their interest. So Mukesh happily said that his house was getting renovated. He held Ani's hand and he just carried her to his house. There were so slim paths where gutter flowed alongside many uh, dogs and humans coexist with each other because like literally the condition was so bad that we cannot imagine about it. There were thousands of houses with blind peoples there, not naturally blind but because of the bangles. They got blind. They were helpless. So this was a horrifying condition. Then they reached the home of Mukesh, which was two stories, and Mukesh just kicked the door, iron door, and popped it open. Then they went in. When they went in, she saw a big veranda in which a pot with spinach leaves was sizzling, and a woman, not too old in age, was sitting there, shooting with like pipe for like what you say, increasing the fire for cooking. She was cooking spinach for the family. She was the bahu of the home. She was Mukesh's elder brother's wife, Mukesh's hubby. Then she met their grandmother. Their grandmother was very, very, what do you say, stereotypical old lady. She started saying that this was their fate. They were born in the race of bangle makers and they had to die. It's a miserable condition, like literally. She was just cursing her fate. She was blaming her fate to be a part of their lives. Mukesh's father was also got blinded by the bangles during polishing it. The wife of Mukesh's father, or sorry, Mukesh's mother exactly, was passed out as well. So a really young girl was taking care of three men in the house, who was the beau. When Anis asked or had a talk with uh, Mukesh's father, he said that the best thing that he had done is to educate their children and put a roof over their head. And the renovation of the house was being carried out by the work that Mukesh's elder brother was putting. So they were really progressive. Yep, he must be proud of it. So then she really liked Josh. She really liked the spirit that Mukesh had inside him to become a motor mechanic, and she like motivated him. She also asked once that, "Do you want to ever become an airplane pilot?" He nodded, "No." And why is that? Because not many planes flew over the place of Firuzabad, so he never had exposure, and he knew that he wouldn't be able to achieve that level of progress. He would need a base to do that, and he don't have it right now. So now we will get back to Sahib Alam. Sahib Alam now is a young man, like not really young. It's like 1 or 2 years later. Sahib Alam was seen carrying a big what you say, uh sorry, a big canister of milk. He said he was hired as a employee in the tea shop at the roadside, and they paid him 800 rupees as well as all his meals. It was a pretty good progress for him, for his family as well. Anis asked, "Are you feeling good with this job?" But Sahib nodded like, "No." Why is that? Because the bag he carried, the bag of rag that he carried was way lighter than the canister, because the bag was his own, but the canister was someone else's. It was not the weight of the milk that had made it heavier. It was the weight of the responsibility, it was the weight of the debt, or weight of not being king or lord of yourself. That's what Sahib lose. There was also a small incident of Sahib when he got a pair of shoes. There was a hole in it, like maybe some rich boy had threw it apart after he had a hole in it, and then but Sahib was not bothered by it. Those were like literally tennis shoes. It didn't suit him on those ragged rags that he wore up here, but still, he was literally so happy for them. He always go near the tennis court and watch the game. He says that I really want to play it, but and he's realized that he probably wouldn't be able to because his financial conditions were not that sound. So, what this story really means is that there were two peoples, Sahib Alam and Mukesh. Sahib Alam, who was a leader of his own, who was the lord of his own life, who was curious, who was exploring the life, who was independent, has transformed to a Sahib Alam who is an employee, who is a servant, who is not independent but dependent upon that man who has a tea shop near the roadside. So he lost his freedom, he lost his curiosity, he lost his love for what he did. And on the other hand, Mukesh, who was a servant who used to make bangles, who used to earn money by it, who used to polish, who used to whatever he does, had a spring of bud of hope inside him that he want to become a motor mechanic and want to escape this trap. That was the contrast that the author wanted to create between these two groups. Yeah, sorry, and I also forget one thing from the Mukesh story that Anish Jung also visited some young peoples. She visited a young girl who was so she was really very young, but she was so professional on bending those. Like she was doing it like the tones of a machine. She didn't even realize how important these bangles are for the suhag. Like what does these mean? And the lady that was walking beside her, she knows it. She goes and asks her, and she said that शेर भर कर खाना भी नहीं खाया. That means like in her whole life she didn't even had a full meal. We can imagine how miserable their life are. She also went to the youngsters who were just entrapped by the middlemen and police officers, the higher ups who had lot of profit from this industry. She said, "Why don't you open a corporate? It would give you more leverage, more money. Your art is amazing. Why don't you do it?" They said, "What if even if we do that, the police is not going to listen us. The higher ups, the authorities that are ruling this industry would bring us down really quick. We would have been beaten up for doing nothing wrong because we don't have money." This is the sad part, and this is what the story is telling us. Lost spring. Sahib Alam, who lost it, and Mukesh, who grew it. So this is the story. This is the essence of story. Thank you so much. And this was a really long video. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Meet you in the next story. Bye.